Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of tractors that were banned. You might think a tractor is a simple beast, a bit of metal and rubber designed to putter along at a snail's pace, but some of these machines, well, let's just say they had a bit more character. Some were dangerous, some were downright bizarre, and some, well, they just got on the wrong side of the law. So, buckle up because this is going to be a wild ride. We'll be digging deep into the history of these mechanical misfits, exploring the reasons behind their downfall, and maybe even shedding a tear for their untimely demise. The Fordson Model F, picture it, 1917, the world's on fire, literally in some places. And Henry Ford decides what the world needs is a cheap, mass-produced tractor. Enter the Model F, a machine so basic it made a hammer look like a supercomputer. Now you've got to admire old Henry's gumption. He wanted to put a Ford in every field, just like he'd done with roads. But the Model F, well, it was a bit like that mate who turns up to a party wearing nothing but a lampshade on his head. You see, the bloody thing had a nasty habit of tipping over. Seriously, it was like a drunken giraffe on roller skates. And the engine? Oh dear, the engine. Let's just say it had a penchant for spontaneously combusting. Farmers, being the resourceful sort, took to adding extra weight to the front. Some even resorted to filling the tires with concrete, but it wasn't enough. The Model F was eventually banned in several countries, deemed too dangerous for its own good. Was it a bad tractor? In a word, yes. But it was also a sign of the times, a bold, if somewhat misguided attempt to revolutionize agriculture. It paved the way for future tractors, even if it did so by tripping over its own shoelaces. Next up, we've got the Alice Chalmers Model G, a tractor that was about as popular as a fart in a spacesuit. Now, this little fella wasn't banned for being dangerous. Oh no, it was all about the money, money, money. See, Alice Chalmers had this bright idea to sell the Model G without a distributor network. They figured farmers could just fix the darn thing themselves. Problem was, this upset the apple carts something rotten. Dealers, the lifeblood of the tractor world, were furious. They cried foul, claiming unfair competition. Lawsuits flew faster than a greased pig at a county fair. The result? The Model G was slapped with restrictions, effectively killing its chances of becoming the plucky little tractor that could. It's a shame, really. The Model G was a decent little machine, perfect for smaller farms. But it just goes to show, you don't mess with the tractor establishment. They'll crush you like a grape under a combine harvester. Now we come to a giant, a legend, the John Deere 4020. This wasn't some flimsy contraption. This was a proper workhorse, beloved by farmers everywhere. But even titans have their flaws. The 4020 had a bit of a problem with its hydraulic system. Seems the hydraulic lines had a nasty habit of rubbing against the fuel tank. Not ideal, wouldn't you say? Well, one can only imagine the horror when farmers discovered this design flaw could lead to, shall we say, a rather rapid, unscheduled disassembly of the tractor. In layman's terms, the bloody thing could burst into flames. Now, John Deere, to their credit, tried to fix the problem. They issued recall after recall, but the damage was done. The 4020 had gained a reputation as a fire hazard, and eventually the powers that be decided enough was enough. It was a sad end for a tractor that had so much potential, but it's a stark reminder that even the biggest names in the business can make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can have explosive consequences. The International Harvester 1468, a beast of a machine, powerful enough to pull a small planet. But it wasn't brute strength that did this tractor in. No, the 1468 fell victim to a different kind of beast, the long arm of the law. You see, the 1970s brought with them a new era of environmental awareness. Suddenly, everyone was worried about smog, acid rain, and all sorts of nasty things we were pumping into the atmosphere. The 1468, with its massive diesel engine, was public enemy number one in the eyes of environmental regulators. It belched out smoke like a chain-smoking dragon, and no amount of tinkering could change that. The writing was on the wall, stricter emission standards were introduced, and the 1468 simply couldn't meet them. It was banned in several countries, deemed too dirty for a world trying to clean up its act. It was a sign of the times, really. The days of gas-guzzling behemoths were numbered. The 1468, for all its power and glory, was simply on the wrong side of history. And finally, we come to the Massey Ferguson 135, a tractor that proves even the best laid plans can go disastrously wrong. Now, the 135 was a popular little machine, known for its reliability and ease of use. But it had one fatal flaw, a design quirk so mind-bogglingly stupid, it's hard to believe it ever made it past the drawing board. You see, the 135 had its fuel tank located directly underneath the driver's seat. Now, I'm no engineer, But even I can see that's about as sensible as keeping a lit match next to a can of gasoline. And sure enough, it wasn't long before 135 started going up in flames. 1 minute, a farmer would be happily chugging along. The next, he'd be doing his best impression of a human torch. Word spread like wildfire, pun intended. And soon, the 135 was infamous for its tendency to spontaneously combust. Bans were enforced, lawsuits were filed, and Massey Ferguson was left with a right royal mess on their hands. It's a cautionary tale, really. A reminder that even the most experienced engineers can make mistakes, and that sometimes those mistakes can have fiery, life-altering consequences. So there you have it. 5 tractors that got the boot, each with its own tale of woe and misfortune. They might be gone, but they're certainly not forgotten. Their stories serve as a reminder that even in the world of agriculture, things aren't always as straightforward as they seem. From design flaws to legal battles, environmental concerns to plain old bad luck, these tractors faced it all. They might have been banned, but they left their mark on history, paving the way for the safer, more efficient machines we have today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating stories from the world of machinery. See you next time.